listening to The Real Fan Review with Hav, Sanj, Al, and B.
What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review, representing the Decepticons.
The Decepticons.
And we got with us today, we got my brother B representing Spider-Man.
Hello.
And then Al, who only got the memo to wear the real shirt. We got the man in the shirt, Al, wearing his Real Fan Review shirt.
There you go.
Oh man, so listen, no Sanj today, but we'll make it without him, man, and we'll see him on the next episode, hopefully. Sanj is busy working. So listen, we got to go over today some of the news, which is just the release dates moving. We had some trailers come out. We got the Bill and Ted trailer, also the you should have left trailer, which is kind of crazy. We also are going to talk about Artemis Fowl. That's the movie that we were going to watch this weekend. Oh, boy. And then we're going to put the fellas in some movie situations. So let's get right into it. First things first, man. You Should Have Left trailer came out with Kevin Bacon. And looked pretty good to me, man. I was very interested in seeing this trailer. I saw it and I was like, oh, this is kind of creepy. Blumhouse once again killing it. Straight to video.
This week, right?
And it's coming out
Friday.
this week. So the trailer came out last week, and the movie's coming out this Friday. Al, talk to me, man. Are you watching this Blumhouse presentation?
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. Like I showed what you sent me you sent us all the preview for the movie, and as soon as I saw it, I was hooked. I knew I definitely was going to watch it. I showed it to my wife, and she was like, "Yep, we're watching it." So we're waiting for it. It's our kind of movie, you know. So definitely look forward to it. I'm just surprised they gave it such a short window. Like I don't know what
2-week notice.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we got a new
Here's a movie.
And Brandon, man, Blumhouse, man, the killers of the freaking Invisible Man. You know, they made that movie. They made it happen. What's your thoughts on You Should Have Left?
I mean, the trailer itself, for being the first trailer, so technically like a teaser trailer, I guess it would be, like to show some really like jumpy moments, some really interesting scenes, I'm invested.
I hear you, man. I am too. Anytime that I look in the mirror now, I always turn around real quick to see if it moves, that scene alone was crazy, and then all the shadows. But Blumhouse, honestly, man, they're killing it with the movies that they're making, because usually horror movies are either very good or they're just freaking terrible. And most of the time, horror movies don't really have a great story. You're there for the killings or the villain or whatever the case is happening in the story, right? But with the Blumhouse movies, they actually write good scripts, man. I mean, Invisible Man again. Fantasy Island wasn't so great, but it was still interesting. You know what I mean? But they seem to make good movies. So I'm very interested in seeing that one there. And then also we got a trailer for Bill and Ted 3. I was super shocked to see that. Brandon, you're a music head. This is Bill and Ted Face the Music. What's your thoughts, Brandon?
I mean, I love the Bill and Ted series, so as like dated as the movie looks, like I'm excited. I can't wait to see it.
Right. I hear you, man. And Al, man, how about yourself, man? I mean, I haven't seen Bill and Ted since Bill and Ted first came out back in the day.
Man.
I have no recollection of the movie besides the telephone booth.
I have, other than that, and that George Carlin was in the movies, I really don't know much about it. That movie never, those two, I think the first two never got me to watch them. I think combined, I watched like 20 minutes of both movies.
Excellent.
But and then the other guy doesn't look that bad, but for whatever reason, Keanu looks old in this.
It's just the shaved beard.
Yeah, he needs to grow his hair. He needs to grow it out then, because
I'm almost worried what Neil's gonna look like now.
I know, right? Oh my God!
But listen, that's John Wick. You respect John Wick.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that movie and Matrix.
Yeah, man. Both of them. It look like they're gonna come out a month apart now, which actually is a good segue, Al. Good one, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to these new release dates, man. Now, Al just talked about the Matrix there. Matrix got pushed back a whole year. I think it's coming out now in April 1st of 2022.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that got pushed back a year. Looks like Wonder Woman got pushed to October. Let's see, No Time to Die moved up a week to November 20th instead of November 27th. Tenet got pushed back 2 weeks. And Godzilla versus Kong got moved also
Oh,
to May 21st, May 21st of next year.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy all these movies moving around. I'm kind of worried about Mulan now being moving also because I don't think anybody wants to be that first movie that comes out.
Yeah. No,
They're
and then,
like, we don't know if people are gonna go to the movies. So,
yeah, it'll be a big loss. Yeah, because especially now you hear all these states that are opening up, they're also coincidentally having a large number of new cases again. So
yeah, man.
I'm not going to the movie theater to see this movie as much as I want to see it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can understand why they're being a little cautious and pushing these dates back again.
Absolutely. And Brandon, man, same for you, brother. I mean, you hear all these movies moving around a little bit. Tenet moved just 2 weeks
yeah.
out, but anything's possible in the next coming months. I actually just got a little text from one of these news sites saying that the pandemic is causing people to worry about maybe shutting down again.
Yeah. I mean,
Which,
we talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago, and like how things would happen as we start to reopen as a state. And we said it, the number one thing that's expected is the rise in cases again, and with the rise of cases, if this starts getting bad, everything's going to shut down again. Maybe, that
right.
it might, but with the rising cases, are people going to want to go to the movies? Is that even going to be an option? Are we going to be this video on demand thing? I've already kind of put in my head that 2020 like doesn't exist. Like when the ball drops next year, it's going to be 2020. Like, so I already said this year's kind of doesn't exist. It's a blank little field.
Yeah.
When it's over,
Insane,
we'll
man.
forget about it. When the ball drops, it'll be 2020 for real.
Yeah.
Uh,
And the crazy thing is that it's just wear a mask. Just wear a mask.
just wear a
It's that
mask,
so
man.
many people are insisting that they don't need to wear a mask and just wear the
Yeah.
mask.
Oh, it's too hard. It's too hard, Al.
Hey,
Uh,
I want my freedom, Al.
oh God.
Can't breathe with this thing, Al.
Listen, I
Oh,
I
my
gotta
favorite.
wear that thing. I gotta wear the mask and the face shield at work all day long. It's the most annoying thing in the world, but I have yet to get the COVID-19, so I'm doing the right thing. Yeah.
You look like
Yeah, man.
Modoc over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, big TV, that guy.
Oh, yeah, man. And listen, that's pretty much it for the movie news this week. Again, there's
Yeah.
a bunch of new release dates coming out for these movies. Um, let's see, Bill and Ted and everything. Another bit of not news, but just to kind of like touch up on something. Usually, when we get like any kind of fan responses, we bring it up on our show. So I just want to give a shout out to one of our contributors and listeners named Mo, who did contribute. He then sent me an email regarding the last episode where we were talking about social justice. He wanted it to be known that Boycott is also a good movie to watch. Let's see, he said Glory as well, and there was one more, and I think it was something about. Let's see here. I wrote it down. The Great Debaters, but he definitely said Boycott
Oh well.
is a good movie that he said people should watch. And he also voiced his strong opinion there on like systemic racism and how it feels to constantly have to explain to people who don't understand why it's so important.
Mhm.
So Mo, man, if you're listening, man, I appreciate you emailing me and letting me know how you feel. And man, I support you and I got your back, brother. So just want to let anyone know if again, from our last episode regarding social justice, if you didn't hear it, give it a look, check it out, listen to it and see what you think. And like I said, you have any kind of responses, comments to it, send us an email or send a comment right below on YouTube when you're watching this video. Now, on to our next thing. We were all going to watch Artemis Fowl this week on Disney Plus that came out on Friday. Now, I got a chance to watch it 3 times because the first 2 times I fell asleep. I watched the third time yesterday and finally got through it. And God, that was fucking terrible. We can go spoilers. We can do it all because you know what?
Oh God.
People don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Brandon, did you get a chance to watch Artemis Fowl?
I did not, but I did like the book series, so
Okay.
I was hoping it was good. But I kind of felt that it wasn't gonna be good based off of what I saw in the trailers.
Right.
And there is like an online group of people who, from the trailers alone, did say that it wasn't anything like the book was going to show. Like, it didn't seem to match the feel that the book was giving off. So that was just people's perception of the trailers alone. So, going into the movie, I was like, yeah, I'm okay.
I hear you, man. Yeah, I mean, I heard they changed a lot of things from the book. I heard that Artemis Fowl was a villain, or somebody was a villain, and they changed that for the movie version of it, or something like that. Either
Yeah.
way, whatever they did with this movie version didn't work, and I'm surprised, man. I don't know if you know Al, but this movie was made by Kenneth Branagh, the guy who did Thor, and Kenneth Branagh, he does good
Yeah,
movies, man.
yeah. I was surprised. I mean, granted, you can only do with what you're given, and doesn't. I mean, the movie was an hour and a half long,
Right, so it was a
and to
short movie, and
me,
it felt like fucking
yeah,
forever.
yeah, and it didn't. There wasn't enough detail. Like, I don't know why I'm supposed to care about this kid. Why am I supposed to care about the father? Like there was no build up. There was no history. Like, because they had to squeeze everything into an hour and a half, I should say.
Yeah,
Um, they rushed everything. They didn't explain anybody. They didn't give any backdrop to anything. They just
no,
rushed into everything, and they had to tell
absolutely.
everything instead of showing everything. So to me, in the end, I was like, I watched it just at that point, just see how it played out.
Right.
But I couldn't care whether the kid made it to the end, if he survived,
I couldn't
if they.
care.
Man, I really didn't care. I just wanted to see the end. That was it. And
I got
you
you.
know,
That's like
yeah,
the Avatar movie. M. Night
It's
Shyamalan.
Oh my God.
yeah,
Dude, listen, that movie, there's a main bad guy that you just hear her voice and you see like a shadow version of her. It just didn't even explain like why we should care that bad guy was in the movie. I don't even know why they showed it. I guess they're trying to make it like a threequel. Is that the plan? That they probably
yeah,
gonna have to
It
fucking
is a book
shelf now?
series, so
yeah. Or
But
they didn't even show, like, usually in the beginning of a movie, they show you like a big scene to get you hooked and to show like how bad this bad person is. They don't do anything. They just say, "Oh, an evil force is wants to." Okay, so she's an evil force. Okay, like there was no explanation. I mean, nothing to show us why we should care about anybody
oh
in this movie.
man. And you know what I was getting annoyed with was with this. If you guys don't know, Josh Gad is in this movie. His character, the way he speaks was just like so annoying. By the third time that he was on the screen, I was like, dude, just shut up. Because Josh Gad is like, he's like this funny comedian kind of person. He plays a lot of comedic roles. He's also been doing some serious things, but in this movie, he's trying to be like mysterious as he speaks. But then he still has his Josh Gad voice. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so
Wait,
I don't know if Josh Gad can be mysterious.
the
He's just
dude,
biggest
flop.
reach,
he's trying.
He's flop.
He's trying very hard.
yeah, the biggest reach in the movie, and you could tell like they were just going for the effect, was when he had to dig his tunnel. Did you,
Did you see the
not
dirt
only
coming out of his butt?
exactly, like, come on, you could tell that was just them trying to hook the kids and
Oh my
get them to
God.
crack. Like,
It's just nuts, man. So listen, I know Brandon didn't see the movie. So Al, man, what are you gonna rate this movie here for
uh,
yourself, brother?
like, don't even like skim past it. Don't even start the preview.
Read the book.
Nothing.
Read the book.
Don't.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
Listen, my thing is, listen. If you're a fan of the series, you're definitely not gonna be happy with what they did.
yeah.
If you're not a fan of the series, you're not gonna be happy with what they did. I'm gonna tell you guys now, do not rush to see this movie. Let it just stick on your Disney Plus thing. And again, this is my fear with these movies that are going to video on demand or these movies that are going to Netflix. I have that fear that there's a reason why these movies are putting on there. And this is just going to add to that skepticism that I have on these movies that are going straight to demand. So I'm almost worried about, you should have left coming on video on demand, but listen, man, I love movies. I'm still gonna watch them. Like so. Yeah, man. So listen, that's our Artemis Fowl review of this foul ass movie. So hopefully, luckily, actually, I got to see some other movies. So let's go into some of the movies we saw this week, fellas. Brandon, did you get a chance to watch anything this week for yourself, or this week was a little light week on movies for yourself?
This week was a little light. I was actually watching a lot of anime. Hulu is now my best friend because all anime is on Hulu, so I'm nonstop watching anime. I
Okay.
can't help myself.
Anything stood out in the anime there? Anything that you would
Uh,
suggest people watch?
I mean, to be honest, like there are like the big anime shows that are hugely popular, but like Dragon Ball Z and all these things. I've been watching a lot of Fairy Tail, which is kind of a big popular anime. But
Right.
another anime I've been watching is it's really funny, but it's something I think you guys would like too. It's called How to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon. And
What?
it's funny because
What?
the title alone is so funny. You're like, oh, okay, but it's like a show that where these people live in a village, but there's an actual like dungeon there, and the people are kind of like video games, so they have to level up their character through the dungeon, and they have to go through different floors of the dungeon. So it's got a really good story.
Yeah.
It's really just about a guy who like falls in love with the girl he meets in the dungeon, and like the whole show is like all these girls are in love with him, but he's in love with them, with his one girl. Sorry, but he gets really strong and all this stuff. So like it takes video games and puts it in that like anime lore kind of a thing and melds them two together. It's pretty good. I actually really like it.
All right, no problem. And what was the
Funny
name of that
title.
one?
How to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon.
All right.
I'll
that's
check it
that's
out.
Brandon's recommendation for the week. Myself, I actually got to see a couple of movies. I did get a chance to see The Hunt. And I got to tell you guys, man, I was pleasantly surprised with The Hunt. Again, like Al had said previously, all the hype that it got for being this, like, political movie, it really wasn't at the end of it. They used the politics part of it as reasons for certain things, but in the end of the movie, it really didn't freaking matter. So
Yeah.
I honestly enjoyed The Hunt. I got to tell you, some of the things that happen in that movie are going to be ranked in our reallys for like, oh shit moments. I gotta tell you, the first like 15 minutes of the movie, I didn't know who the lead person was because everybody kept dying. So like, I was
They're
like, oh,
like big
watching
name
this
people.
person live, and then all of a sudden, gruesome death. Then the camera pans to somebody else. I'm like, all right, guys, that's our main character. Oh, he steps on a mine. Like,
Yeah. What's his name? The guy from This Is Us. I was like, oh shit!
yeah,
I didn't know he was going to be the star of this movie.
yeah, wrong.
No, wrong, wrong.
So if you guys haven't got a chance to see The Hunt, I'm going to tell you, you should see The Hunt. The Hunt is actually pretty good if you're just willing to have a good time with something that's out of this world bonkers. But it's just cool. The ending is awesome. And just, you're not going to be ready for the first maybe 15, 20 minutes of that movie. That movie's just absolutely nuts. I
Yeah.
actually also saw Brahms the Boy because Brahms the Boy Part 2 came out this year. And I saw Brahms the Boy. We're going to get into a little bit more Brahms the Boy in a second, but for just this quick review right here, you should also see Brahms the Boy Part 1.
Brahms the boy. Brahms the boy.
Uh,
A long
yeah.
ass title.
All I'm going to say is this movie is sold as a spooky, like, creepy doll movie. There's a surprise.
Oh yeah.
There is a surprise. All right. So listen, The Hunt, Brahms the Boy Part 1, you guys should check those movies out, especially us stuck in quarantine and not being able to go anywhere still. So
Now, where can we find Brahms the boy? Do we have to rent it or?
yeah, you might have to rent it. I know I personally got it off of Netflix, I believe it was.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
no, not Netflix. I think I got that. You know what? It was the Netflix, actually, the DVDs that they mail you.
Okay.
Yeah, so you might have to stream that somewhere. But
Yeah.
yeah, Brahms the Boy Part 1 was actually insane. And I'm going to watch Brahms the Boy Part 2 either tonight or tomorrow night. So we'll see how that goes. Al, man, yourself, man, you got a chance to catch any movies? Are you still doing your Ozark?
No, not Ozark. That's on the queue, so that's coming. But
Okay.
I'm still doing Lucifer, but I had to offset Artemis Fowl, so I actually caught Spike Lee's movie, The Five Bloods.
Yeah, I was meant to watch that, but I got stuck with this
Yeah,
freaking movie.
yeah. Because I said you can't go wrong with a Spike Lee movie, So
So talk to me, man. How was it?
it's good, man. You're gonna watch it. It's the characters are like unlike Artemis Fowl, the characters are drawn out. You get to understand each character's I won't say plight, so to speak, but you will get to understand them and what motivates them and why they're doing and what's behind everything. I mean, it's already been put out there that they going back to Vietnam, that they were Vietnam soldiers. But when you find out why they're going and how it makes them at certain points turn against each other, but not turn against each other where you really think they're going to turn on each other, but it makes them, it's like any kind of family is the closest thing. It's four real close friends. There's a fifth one, but that's part of the story, so I won't ruin it. But, they're such close friends that you never think they're really going to turn on each other, but it makes them fight like intense with each other at certain points. But you can feel the love, so to speak, that they still, have for each other as friends, as brothers. And what's the name? Delroy Lindo. I have to give it to him. He did a great job in this movie. I mean, I've always liked his acting. I've always liked his work, but his character is the one there. Like, how they always talk about PTSD. Some people, they never really mentally leave the war.
Right.
He was that guy. He was that guy in the group. So, and they show how it's affecting him and it's affecting his relationship with his son. It's just a great movie. For me, it was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. There's no big twist. There's no, the storyline is major. It plays a big factor. So I won't. There's certain details about what they're doing and why they're doing it that I don't want to ruin, so that you can enjoy the movie. But just the interaction between the four of them, or five of them, like it seemed real. It seemed genuine, and I love when I can see a movie where, like, you can really see. Like, it's not, you don't feel like you're watching actors acting.
Right.
You feel like
it's like real friends going through a real situation.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it was cool. And all four of them, were real good. They have a whole good cast there. So you have Delroy Lindo, you have Clark Peters, Jonathan Majors, Norm Lewis, and, Chadwick Boseman, as well. So you got to, and Gene Reno. I don't know if they even show him in the previews, but he's in the movie. So I don't know if anybody doesn't know who that is. That's The Professional. So I'm sorry. That's all. He'll always be that.
That's all you're gonna say.
So he plays.
Now, as good as you like this movie, I mean, is it one of your like top for 2020 so far? I mean, because there hasn't been a lot of great movies for 2020, but is it up there?
I would say so. Say so. I mean, a lot of people are going to probably point to something else, but for just the way that Spike Lee, how Spike always tells a story.
Yeah.
He doesn't glorify the Vietnam War. He doesn't apologize for it. And you see both sides. Because remember, they're going back to Vietnam. So, not the American soldiers aren't going to have love from everybody there because some of their families were Viet Cong. So now you're going back and some of those people hate the U.S., So they show you both sides. And Spike, like, really put video and clips and photos from then. Like, there's one scene that's, stuck with me because I don't know how I would have reacted if I saw that in person. Like, you've seen people in movies get shot and everything, but I've never seen somebody in real life and they show it. And damn, if I had to see that in real life, and I probably would have been Delroy Lindo's character, like coming back with all that PTSD.
Right.
So, and that was another part of the movie that I enjoyed. That it's crazy saying enjoyed this, but I like
it attached you to the movie. Absolutely.
He didn't sugarcoat nothing, and he didn't portray it from one point of view. You got to see. I mean, obviously, the whole point of the movie is from their point of view because you're following them.
Right.
But he incorporates scenes so that you can see the other side's view as well. So I like that, and I always like that when you have a movie that, there's a certain topic, but it gives you as much of the angles and sides of the story.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's amazing. Al, you just sold the movie to me, kid. I'm about to forget Brahms the Boy Part 2. I'm going to see The Five Bloods tonight. Jesus. Oh, Al, man. And bringing the heat. All right. Yeah, man. So listen, that's the movies that we saw for this week, man. And like I said, we always try to give everyone who's listening out there just some things to maybe put down on your to-do list as far as movies to watch and movies to catch, especially if you have some free time or if you're going, like I said, through the situation where maybe you're not working or you're not able to really go out anywhere. These are some movies that you guys could take a look at, or like Brandon gave you an anime there to watch on Hulu. Big plug for Hulu, huh?
Who's watching Hulu anyway? Like,
you gotta tell Brandon they're not a sponsor. Yeah. Oh man. So that's gonna bring us to our last part of the show, man. And this is the part where, again, we always try to put ourselves into movie situations or to describe on something with movies, right? So this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to put ourselves in some situations here and different things that happen with movies. So one of the first situations here is going to deal with my experience with Brahms the Boy Part 1. Again, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. Brandon. So Brahms the Boy is sold as this movie, right? It's sold as this particular movie. So I'm sitting there watching this movie, enjoying it the hell out of it. I'm thinking it's great. I'm waiting for this freaking mannequin to do its crazy part, right? And this whole movie, they're selling it like this mannequin is gonna do something eventually.
Mhm.
So we get to the end of the movie. There's a scene where they're in a pool room, a pool like queue and everything like that, right? And the room's shaking, things are breaking, and something happens in this movie. Now, before this thing happens, I realized I was clutching a blanket like a little baby. Right? I was clutching the blanket so tight that I felt my knuckles like squeezing. And I'm waiting to see what the hell's going on, right? So this mirror breaks in this pool hall. And you guys have to see me. I was like looking, like trying to look closer inside to see what's in the mirror. And then all of a sudden something happens and I had to pause the movie and I jumped out and said, I'm not fucking doing this today. And I have to say, I haven't had an experience like that where I got so scared in a movie scene like that in a long time. And it was so funny. I was rolling, dying laughing for about a good half hour at myself. And I was trying to think of like maybe another time that happened to me. And the other time that happened to me was actually in the movie theaters when I was watching Signs. I don't know if you've ever seen Signs. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie with I forgot the Joker's name now.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix is in the movie. So is Mel Gibson. And it's a fantastic movie. And if it's the first time you ever see it, it's going to be even better, right? The first time you see it, you're going to lose your goddamn mind. There's a scene in that movie where there's like a news report going on. And it says like, this is the first time you're going to see an alien on the TV screen. And you're waiting. And then all of a sudden it pops out and you're like, ah! Now, I'll never forget in the movie theater, the entire theater screamed at the same time. So it's like one of those experiences, right? So I want to ask the fellas, we'll go with Brandon first on this one. When was the last time you lost your mind in a horror movie where you were either clutching a blankie, screaming, or you had to like pause it and like, I'm not doing this?
Let's see.
Because you guys all admitted you watch horror movies now, so.
Yes. I think, let's see, a horror movie that made me jump. I can't remember the name of the movie, but I remember there was one scene where it was like really dark, and it's one of those scenes where all the sound goes away, and it was really dark, and so the person's walking down the hallway, and you're just kind of in it with them, and you kind of feel like you're the person walking down the hallway, and I forgot what movie it was, and it was at home. And I felt myself getting into like the person's body and like walking down the hallway. So I tried to shut it down real quick, and I started talking to Dawn, my fiance. So I turned away, I'm like, "Oh, this is getting crazy. What do you think's gonna happen?" I tried to talk myself out of it, you know. And she's like, "Can you shut up and watch the movie?" And I'm just like,
"It's a good time out."
I'll be like, "Yo, this is crazy, right? This is crazy." I had to talk myself out from getting into the movie. So that way when it happened, I wasn't so scared.
Oh man.
But I wish I could remember what movie it was. It was something like that turned out to not be that scary, but like it was just the way they set up the scene where the sound completely goes away and it's just you and the person walking down a dark hallway. And I'm like,
Oh,
don't get in it, don't get in it, get out, get out.
oh man, Al, man, how about yourself, man? What was the last time you saw a horror movie, or what horror movie was it that made you like actually get a little nervous and scared there for a second?
There's two movie. Well, the one that scared me so much that I've never watched it again was The Omen.
The Omen.
The Omen. I mean, I'm talking about the original Omen. It came out in '76, but by the time I
Uh,
watched it, it had already been out a couple years.
yeah.
Um, but that movie with that little boy and everything, and just
Little
uh,
boys are creepy, man.
kid, it damaged me. I can't see a crow again without thinking something's up. So that one damaged me pretty good. And at that point, I thought I was pretty good. I thought I could watch
Yeah.
scary movies and I was good. But I was like 8 or something. But the one that recently surprisingly got to me was, and I wouldn't have thought this movie would get it, was I don't know if you've ever heard of The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
I've heard of it. I think I seen the graphic of it on a DVD cover. So she's like floating over the bed, the hospital
Yeah,
bed.
yeah.
Okay.
That movie got me a couple times. I don't know, but surprisingly, because me and my wife, we watch a ton of horror movies, and you would think
Yeah,
like one of these horror movies got me. They usually don't. I mean, the little jump scare gets you once
of
in a while because
course.
you don't
Yeah,
expect it. But it's more of a surprise than you're scared. This one, I was like, oh shit.
yeah.
I don't even know why. I don't know what it was about it.
And it's
Even
a
to this day.
found footage one too, right?
No, no, it's actually an actual movie, but it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
one where they find this body. They don't know what happened to it. They're doing hence the Jane Doe. They're doing
Right,
it's
right.
yeah. If you like scary movies, watch that one. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, not anymore.
Oh,
I'm not gonna watch
the
that one.
movie was
But leave the light. Watch it with the lights on.
the movie was Insidious: The Last Key. That's what it was.
No way.
Yeah. It
Is it
was
the last key? That's the one that got you?
it was the scene when the key lady comes down before the door. It was like
I
the
don't know.
only it
Oh
was like
yeah,
the
Smile.
only jump scare in the
yeah.
whole movie. It was like
Uh,
the only one in the whole movie.
You know what scared
uh,
me in Insidious? The freaking opening when they go Insidious.
That's
I'm
what
like,
they say.
what the fuck?
I, I'll say, was it Insidious? I think it was the second Insidious. Either that or one of the Conjuring movies. No, it was Insidious. When it was the second one when she
Uh,
turns around and the lady's there and smacks her in the face. Yo, that scared the shit out of me. She yells and smacks her in the face. Yo, it was the scariest shit ever.
that's hilarious, man.
oh,
Oh man. All right. All right. Let's get to the next situation here, man. All right. So this is the next situation. And I took this one from The Photograph, which is another movie I just recently saw. In The Photograph, there's a scene where the main character is trying to, court this girl May in the movie, who's played by Issa Rae. And what he does is there's I guess, a big storm coming, and he decides to go over there to go help her. I guess hoping to kind of get stuck in the storm, kind of thing, So, so then they show the storm, and it's freaking crazy. And I'm like, dude, you risk your life for that, Like, and he got what he wanted out in the storm and everything, no doubt. But I wanted to know, fellas, like in your relationships, was there ever a time where the weather was so bad where you're like, yeah, I can't make it. I forgot I had to do something. Or was there a situation where you were like, oh, it's a storm going on. I'm gonna go protect you, baby. Like.
I have a situation that's not any of those.
Oh, okay.
It was we had ordered food and I had to go pick it up, and it was downpouring where the streets were flooding. There was visible water. It was that what's the name of that? Squall. It's a squall. So it was it last summer. A squall happened, and it's downpouring, where there's visible flooding coming down the streets. You see water going through cars, and I'm on the road just trying to pick up burritos. Like I gotta pick up these burritos.
All in the name of love, huh, Brandon?
That's right.
Burritos.
man.
Loving my tummy.
Al, man, how about yourself, man? You ever been driving in a hurricane or rainstorm for the love of your life, bro?
Man, I'm gonna say the year, Hav, and you'll probably know who I'm talking about. But it was the blizzard of '96,
Uh-huh.
and I had to go from my house to Hempstead because I had to help someone get back home.
Right.
And because of the way the roads were, you couldn't drive and everything. So I walked from my house
Oh.
to Hempstead in what was it, like 5-6 feet of snow?
Oh my Lord, dude.
You're swimming in the snow.
And then had to walk all the way back. Oh, kid, it was crazy. It was ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I remember because that
Go
was
for it.
great.
Yeah.
That was
No.
that was the one time where I was like, afterwards, I was like, I am never doing this shit again. I don't care who it is.
It just done ruined it for everybody else, kid. Oh man, I actually went out in one of those big like Hurricane Sandys or whatever, actually to go see this lady that lives upstairs with me. There was a big storm coming. It was all over the news. You shouldn't drive, stay home. And I was living in Connecticut at the time, and I was like, yeah, I gotta go. I'm gonna go. You know? So I ended up driving, and we ended up going to the restaurant. It was a restaurant in Queens somewhere, and we had dinner and everything. And then I dropped off, and she's like, "You sure you're okay to drive home?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I have no problem." Dude, I've never been so scared in my life. I couldn't. The windshield wipers were on, like super speed mode. Where it's like you're never gonna use this, right? And then you using it, and it's still not good.
It's not good enough. It's still not fast enough.
Dude, there was deers on the highway back home. There was car accidents. There was floods. Ah, dude, 2 hours to get home, and for an hour date. Like, so yeah, man, I've done it, man. So,
Man.
shout out to the photograph.
Shout out to the photograph.
Oh man. Next situation here, man. This is inspired by The Hunt because like I said, I just saw this movie recently. It's a pretty good movie here. So in The Hunt, what ends up happening is they kidnap a bunch of conservatives, right? They called them deplorable, so you knew what they were kind of trying to talk about. But in the end, one of the conservatives that they captured wasn't even the right person. So all for nothing, right? And I was wondering to myself, like at the end of the movie, they're like, oh, the reason why I chose you to die was because you did this and you said this and you did that, and your name is Crystal this. And she's like, that's not me. So this girl has gone through basic hell, and it wasn't even the right person. So I wanted to know if you guys were in that situation where you're either like, running for your life or whatever, and someone catches you and you're like, you're this person. And you're like, that's not even me, bro. Like, what would you do in that situation? Or have you ever been in a situation where someone has confused you for somebody else and blamed you and it wasn't you? Brandon, has this ever happened to you, brother?
I mean, so I feel like I'm always the one being blamed for things, so that's nothing new. But I feel like if I was in this situation and they got the wrong person, the person would be like, so I can leave, right? Like, I'm good. We're good here. No one's going to shoot me when I walk out that door, right? That's what I'm hoping happens.
Al, if you were in that movie, man, or have you had a situation where they got the wrong person, man? It's not you.
Not thankfully, let me knock on wood and everything. Nah, I've never been in that situation in real life. I was a funny story it reminded me of was one day I was waiting in the like I think JFK. I was waiting for my plane, so
Right.
I'm waiting at the board to see what gate I have to go to, and some guy out of nowhere just comes up to me, speaking a language I'd never heard of. I mean, he's just going off, like he's just talking, like not nasty, not rude, like he's just talking, going off. I look at him, I go, bro, what are you saying? He looks at me, he goes, you're not Turkish? I go, no. I have no idea what the hell you just said. He goes, oh my God. Da, 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 da." Apparently I looked like his cousin, so he just assumed I was Turkish.
Uh,
But in terms of like a serious situation where I got confused for somebody and they got the wrong, nah, thank God. And because I don't know what I would do. Because like I
right.
don't like when I'm blamed for something and I didn't do it. Like you know how people have their triggers? That's one of my triggers.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know how I would react if I was in a situation like and somebody was going off on me, blaming me, saying I did X, Y, Z, this and that, and
No.
I got to sit there and defend myself.
So I actually do have a story with that. It just popped into my head. In 2010, I was working
Jesus,
for Home
exact
Depot.
year.
Yeah, I was working. I remember because this was a big event. It was
It's
2010.
2:35 on a Friday.
I was working at Home Depot at the time, and
Uh,
Home Depot does this really lame thing called Cashier Olympics, and it's literally an event for all the cashiers and all the Home Depots on Long Island to get together at the Farmingdale store, and they literally compete in like different
right.
games, like this and that. So it was like a themed year, so you had each Home Depot had to be like a specific theme, and I forgot what it was, but like I was wearing like an afro, a tie-dye shirt, like all these random things. And I remember I had to drive somebody, and so she was dressed up as something else too. So then we're in the car, and like three of us are in our cars. We're all leaving together at the same time, following each other because we didn't know how to get to Farmingdale at the time. And I remember a cop car pulls up behind me, pulls me over, and I thought it was like, damn, like was I speeding? Like I don't think so. So I pull over, whatever, and the officer comes up to my window immediately, and he's just like, "Where are you coming from?" And I'm like, "Home Depot." And he was like, "You sure about that?" And I'm like, "I think so. This is my job." I was like, he goes, Where are you guys headed?" And I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "Well, you're gonna laugh at me. We're going to some place called Cashier Olympics for Home Depot." And he was like, "Oh, all right." He's like, "Can you step out of the car?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, what did I do?" So I get out
Yeah.
of the car, and I'm in this weird getup as it is. I'm in like basically a jack of three different Halloween costumes. And the officer's like talking to me, and he's like, "Oh, so you weren't in this parking lot over here?" So he tells me that apparently someone had just robbed a store in the parking lot at the exact second that I was leaving Home Depot. So he was just like, "You fit the bill." I'm like, "I fit the bill in this outfit." He was just like, "Yeah." He was like, it was the summer, so I was kind of tan, and he was like, brown guy, big afro, weird shirt, and I was like, "Seriously?" And he was just like, "Yeah." He's like, So I was like, "You can open up my trunk, man. There's no money. Like, I'm good." Like, so I open up the trunk. He checks. He's like, "All right." He goes, I think I obviously have the wrong person. I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "I fit the bill, like in this outfit." So that was something.
Uh,
That was fun.
Oh my God, man! I even got a comeback for that. This is crazy. Oh man, I guess like the most I've ever been confused by for somebody else. I remember when back in my clubbing days, I went to this club called the Tunnel in Manhattan, and I got ran up on by a bunch of security guards, and they kind of roughed me up a little bit and searched my pockets. They thought I was a drug dealer, so
okay.
that's the
See it.
most like I'm like, bro, what are y'all doing? I thought the security guards were trying to rob me, so I started fighting back a little bit. I was like, I, I put one in the headlock, then one went for a punch. I was like, okay. I was like, I give. There's like five. I was like, what are y'all doing? They're like, where the drugs? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Look around, dude. I'm like, not me. Jesus Christ. Oh man, and it was a crazy night, man. Yeah, man. So I got confused one time for a drug dealer.
No biggie. No
And
biggie.
No big.
small, but but in the terms of the hunt, if I went through all that nonsense, and at the end they were like, "And you're Javier Jimenez," and I'm like, "What? Who are you looking for?" No, that wasn't even me. He said, "Oh, whoops." I'm like, "Oh, no, no. Now we got to fight. We're going to fight.
We gotta fight now.
We're going to fight. We're going to finish this shit off right now." I went through hell for no reason.
Oh, my bad. Would you like a sandwich?
Oh, she ate the grilled cheese sandwich, man. Oh, man. Shout out to the hunt.
Good.
All right, man. Last one here, man. The last one I saw was Gretel and Hansel, which I refuse to freaking say ever again. It's Hansel and Gretel. Try to flip it on me. Brothers Grimm. So you guys know the story of Hansel and Gretel. So I want to know, if you guys were ever in this situation, what would you guys do? If you guys were like walking in the woods with your other half there, and you guys just, ooh, that smells ridiculous. Would you guys keep walking, or would you guys and see if you could talk to somebody?
Wrong. You wouldn't find me in the woods. Nothing good happens in the woods.
You don't do trails, you don't hike, Brandon?
Nothing good happens in the woods. I had never heard anything good happening in the woods before.
Especially if you find a house with good cookies.
You're the only house in the woods with good cookies? Nah, I'm good. Let me see 7 more houses in these woods with good cookies.
Al, man, how about yourself, man? You knocking on that door, man?
Yeah, kid. I think I'd end up in the oven, man, because I'm a sucker for good food.
Right?
So if their food smelled that good that I'm knocking on the door, yeah, yeah, they getting me, because I'm like, you want have a plate? Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for good food, man.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, I probably wouldn't knock on the door, but if the person's out there going, "Why don't you come in and try some?" Yeah, I'll be donezo too. right in the oven, bro.
Oh man.
Too crazy, man.
Yeah,
Well, listen, man, that's gonna be us for this week, man. We had some fun with this, these situations. We do that every once in a while. And Brandon, did you say you wanted to talk about It Chapter 2 recap?
I think I wanted to hear about It Chapter 2 recap. Let's recap It Chapter 2.
Do you want to recap It Chapter 2,
Yeah.
Al?
Yeah. How about chapter 1 while we're at it? Might as well let's go over both episodes.
Did anyone say Infinity War? Someone said Infinity War. Marvel.
We were making a joke earlier, man, that we see what searched the most on our YouTube and what searched the most on our podcast, and it seems like you guys love It Chapter 2 for some reason, or It Chapter 1 recap, and you guys like Marvel a lot. So we figure we'll just say it once.
That's gonna be my greeting for next week. And Brandon, Marvel.
Insane, man. All right, man. Well, listen, we're going to call it a night, man. Myself, Hav, I thank you guys for listening. As always, I appreciate you. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe right on your YouTube, or subscribe to us on your podcasting app there. We're on all your favorite podcasting apps. If you want to reach out to us, you can email us at therealfanreview@gmail.com. You can go to our website, or if you're on YouTube, leave a comment below and let us know what you think, and we'll definitely respond back to you guys. We appreciate everyone who listens. And like I said, we're saying goodnight from here in New York. We got my brother B.
Andiamos.
And we got my man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
And guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good night.